Do you ever feel stuck in the rat race? Life doesn't have to be that way if you're willing to put in the work. In Bigger Vision, Chris Garrison helps you discover the keys to abundance, freedom, and personal growth that let you live the life of your dreams. And now, here's your host, Chris Garrison.
Practice makes perfect. That's what they say, right? Now, I was doing this charity dance, and my dance teacher, Tammy, if you're listening, giving you a shout out, over here in Tupelo, Mississippi. And this dance charity was called Dancing with the King. It was all about Elvis. So we had to pick out a song that Elvis sang, and then we had to do a 2-minute routine to it. And what this charity did was raise money for underprivileged schools, for the kids to be able to have this dance class, because performing arts has been proven that it does help self-esteem, helps creativity, especially at these early ages. And so that's what this whole charity was about. And I remember when I was doing my dance class with her, I believe it was the first or maybe even the second dance class. We were learning basics, had no ballroom dance experience previously before this moment. So everything was brand new. She's teaching me the steps, and then she started putting choreography behind it. And she said, "Chris, you know what practice does?" I said, "Practice makes perfect." She said, "No, practice makes permanent." And see, that's the thing. If you don't have the right influences in your life and you begin to practice the wrong things, you're gaining a habit. And if it's incorrect information, if it's not done correctly, if it's not going to help you be successful, if it's garbage in, it's going to be garbage out. And we've got to be careful that we're getting around and listening to those who are successful. Too many times we sit here and put ourselves underneath influences of other people that have mediocre success. Marriage is barely hanging on. Their paycheck to paycheck more than likely have debt sitting behind, but they're living in the fancy house. They're living in, they're driving the nicest cars. They're wearing the nicest clothes, eating at the nicest restaurants. But in reality, they've got this massive credit card debt sitting behind them because they're just trying to keep the facade. Maybe they don't even have the discipline to pull back and live within their means. Maybe that's the actual problem, and it's not even the fact that they want to keep appearances up. And we take advice from people like them because we think their success because we see the car they're driving. But the reality is the successful are the ones that put the discipline in, and they hold back today's enjoyments for tomorrow so that they can truly have abundance tomorrow. And I'm not saying that you sit here and save your way to wealth, because that is an incorrect statement. Again, that's some influences that will keep you in poverty. Very few save themselves to wealth. And what's the point of waiting till you're old and decrepit, you've lost all of your enjoyment and movement, and you can't even go experience, because now that you finally have enough money sitting in the bank, you're going to be so scared to death to even spend it because you spent your whole life trying to make it, and it puts you in the wrong mindset. Now, what I'm saying is you get your cash flow right. I'm saying that you put the time in and you master what you're doing. You educate yourself from other individuals that have mastered that as well. You can get past the gurus, you can get past the facade, and you can find out who's authentic. This is where you are going to use your gut instinct, and you're also going to follow up and find out who backs these people. Because true success has followers. True success will have reviews. Here's the great thing about the internet now. You can find information, reviews, because everybody's a keyboard warrior. And your cheerleaders are going to sit there and make statements, and then those that truly have been screwed over by someone are going to make statements. And you've got to sift between those and find out what has the most. Is it the ones that's been screwed over, or is it the ones that are cheerleaders for this individual that's stating that they know what they're doing? Integrity is what you're looking for. And then at that point, you know that you've got someone that is at mastery of their craft, and you begin to follow and study. and you find out what they've done to get there and what they're currently doing to maintain their current success. Their strategies and success leaves clues. I was at this event this past weekend, and again, it just proved relationship capital to me. I was at this event because I hired an assistant that also leases our rental properties for us now, because he's resourceful. He's ambitious. He moves forward. He takes charge. I can delegate a task and I know it's going to get done, which is fantastic. And that's the kind of people that you need around you. And makes a strong team. But this guy, he understands, he's social, and he understands relationship capital, even if he didn't even know what to call it. And he invited us and he said, Chris, you need to meet these folks. These folks are very well off. They've got businesses, and I think it would be a great connection, and invited us to come with him because of his invite and his relationship and rapport that he has with these people. And that's why I say it's only one relationship away, because this individual I met through some mutual friends. A few years later, he comes to work with me, and then he takes me to a party to where I get to network with other individuals that are all about being very successful in life and business, which give me opportunity to experience their world and also opportunity to get around them and hopefully create relationships over time. But while I was at this event, there was a performance done by Derek Huff. Now, I didn't know who Derek Huff was. I've never been much of a Dancing with the Stars kind of guy, but I do applaud and I do recognize the talent that comes behind that. And he's a big deal. And I see why he was a big deal, because he put on an hour-long performance for this event, and every movement was sharp and precise. And his entire team was the same way. And you could tell it was their passion. You can tell that they have devoted so much time into mastering their craft that now they're able to perform it and put the audience in a position of wow. And they get paid very well because they've mastered it. And this is what the problem most of us have, is we never want to put the discipline in to master it, because it takes countless hours to master a skill set. And to become a master, it also takes great discipline, because we get distracted very easily when things aren't as enjoyable. And the practice typically is not the most enjoyable part. The most enjoyable part is when you get recognized, is when you're on the stage and you're performing and everybody's oohing and ahhing and clapping and standing ovations, and the whole team is coming together and everything's precise, and you know that you're the baddest mother on the stage, in the room with your craft that's being performed. This is why you want to master, but we allow ourselves to get distracted by the grass is greener on the other side, the next shiny object. So I want you to really examine your life right now. And what do you currently have in it that's creating money for you? And what could you do to be able to turn the volume up a little bit more on that skill set? This could be the janitor in the school. This could be the receptionist. This could be the welder, the landscaper, the car detailer. This could be anybody. What are you currently doing? What have you applied and put the most time in so far? I had to sit back when I started my cleaning company, because I was sitting right around that age of 30, and I had been in and out of the cleaning industry. I had had exposure to it. I'd actually been to classes on it. And when I was doing a reset after my divorce, I was like, what am I going to do? And I realized the most time and education had been spent in the cleaning and restoration industry. And I chose to go there because I knew that gave me an advantage instead of stepping back and starting and learning a brand new craft. And I also knew that there was money to be made in this industry. So I set my face towards being the best cleaner and restorer in my industry. This is what you have to do in your life. This is what's going to get you further down the road faster. Stop resetting the dial because you think another opportunity is going to give you more success. What you are currently in right now is what you need to increase. Turn the faucet on so that you can turn the drip into a stream. And when you've got these streams, then you can move to a next one. But you got to get the first faucet turned on. Stop buying new faucets and having to install them because you're going to die of thirst in the middle of the installs. It's like Bruce Lee said, I don't fear the man that knows 1,000 kicks, but it's the one that has practiced one kick 1,000 times because now he's a master. And this is what I want you to be. This is what we were meant to be as masters at our craft. Then we partner up and create a team of other masters, and we move forward with massive success. You know, I partnered up with Kevin Marin and Blue Collar Millionaire. This is a Facebook group that we've started free, pump tons of value out, and we talk about how to acquire businesses. And the reason we talk about how to acquire businesses that are currently successful is because you're acquiring cash flow. You don't have the 95% failure rate that you get on a startup. Most businesses never make it past year 5. 95% is the statistic on startup businesses fail. But here's what's amazing right now. We're in a time, and the economy always has opportunities, low-hanging fruit. This is why you should be plugged in to the big players, 7, 8, 9-figure business owners, the ones that have money, because they have access to knowledge. And when you have access to knowledge, you're able to be in the know and you're able to be at the forefront of trends. And it's the ones that are at the beginning of the trends are the ones that make the money. And right now, the low-hanging fruit is the baby boomers that are retiring from their current businesses. They started these businesses, mom and pop shop, maybe 10, 15 employees. They were there every day working. Probably got it to a point at this time in their lifespan because they've owned it 10 plus years that it runs itself for the most part. They come in for morale. They come in to just kind of, oversee, be there present to answer questions if something comes across the board. And they've got good cash flow. And again, they're being listed on brokerages online like bizbuysell.com. And they are probably not going to sell because they are not appealing to institutional money. But for individuals like me and you that are interested in increasing their cash flow and having a business, because we understand that in our nation, the 2 pillars of wealth is business and real estate. We go and we desire businesses of this type. 1 to 5 million in gross revenue, 20 to 30% profit margin, 10 plus employees, 10 plus years in business. What does this tell us? This tells us that if you've got a $2 million company at a 20% profit margin, that's $400,000 in net profit. Would $400,000 in net profit change your life? These are the questions you should ask yourself before you ever start to invest or put your time in something. Is it going to change your life? Is it going to enhance it? Is it going to make a difference? Because everybody's at different levels. I remember when 50,000 used to change my life. 50,000 would not change my life now. I would be bored over it. 400,000, $500,000, that gets my attention. 400,000, I can go hire a CEO to run that thing. I'd probably call it a general manager instead of putting the C in front of it, though, because the C's always cost much more. CFO, CEO, COO. Keep the C's out of it. You get to that level, you better have a multi-million-dollar company rolling. But this is what's available, and this is the low-hanging fruit, and this is the information that you get when you're in front of the right influences that have proven track records. Those that have mastered their craft. So I partnered up with Kevin Marin on this Blue Collar Millionaire And I'm going to speak it for the first time right here because we've not even announced it in the group. But we've got a private group, and we're going to call it the War Room. Because in this War Room, we are going to see individuals change their financial future by acquiring businesses. If we've got people that currently have businesses, acquiring other businesses to bolt on, to vertically integrate so that they can increase their customer database, so that they can increase the revenue and generate higher cash flow. And we're going to teach them how to negotiate these deals, how to find them, how to acquire them, negotiate, how to scale, and then how to take them back to the market and get magnificent, huge, massive lifts in money. If you can acquire a business for, let's say, $600,000, you got $1 million, it's got $1 million revenue, gross revenue business, you got 30% profit margin on it, and you give it a 2X, you purchase it for $600,000 is what the seller wants for it. And then you're able to increase that cash flow maybe to $1 million. Then you can take it back to market and get a 3X on it, maybe even a 5X or more, depending on what you're bringing to market, what kind of industry it is. How would that change your life? If in a matter of 3 years, you can increase the revenue, and where you purchase something for $600,000, you're able to sell it for $3 million. In 3 years, you just increased your revenue, your net worth, $2.4 million. That is massive in 3 years. This is what we teach in the War Room. This is why you need to plug into the right influences. This is why you need to get your eyes, your ears, your mouth in front of the right people. I've got another surprise about the Blue Collar Millionaire as well. I'll save that one for the actual group because we do have a third leader on our team. And this leader has made massive waves in business. So if you're not a part of the Blue Collar Millionaire, here's my ask on this podcast. Go check us out on Facebook. Look up Blue Collar Millionaire. Every Tuesday, 11 Eastern, we do a live interview with business successes, and they tell us where they started and where they're at and what got them there. Because we want to make sure that you're a success. We want to make sure that you're a master at what your skill set is, and we want to make sure that you have the resources so that you can team up with other masters. And this is why we created the War Room. This is why we're doing a mastermind January 26th, 7th, and 8th of 2023. And there's going to be only a select amount of time where this is open and a select amount of people that's going to show up. And we are going to put together, we're going to craft boutique plans for each individual that shows up so that they can increase their revenue in the next 12 months if they've got a business. And if they don't have a business, that they will be able to acquire a business in the next 12 months. There's so many ways to make money. And you have to get around the right people so that you understand money is everywhere. It's not in scarcity. It's not in scarcity. You have every opportunity to live in success. You have every opportunity to have all of the income that you want. You have every opportunity to find every answer that you want. Knowledge is everywhere and it's free. Until next time, I want you guys to live in success and let's grow together.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.